Will I be the buttface if I kept my father's money instead of giving it to his wife?
I'm going to need a minute.
Insert context here. After my parents got divorced, my dad started dating Betty. Everything started okay, but Betty became jealous when my dad spent time with me. She was never abusive, just passive-aggressive, and saved her worst comments for when he wasn't around. I learned I can't trust her, but I am polite to her. Betty has a son, Frank, who's very greedy. When she met my dad, Betty stopped giving him everything he wanted. In 2009, he and my dad had an argument that ended with then 40-year-old Frank punching my then 70-year-old dad. My dad died a few months ago. The will was joint, so the estate goes to Betty, and once she dies, what's left will be divided between me, my brother, Alan, and Frank. It's unlikely me or Alan will see any of it because Frank will drain her until there's nothing left, which has already started. They got married in 1996. In 2006, he changed the beneficiary of his IRA to only me. It's not part of the estate. She is very nervous about the IRA. My dad was fairly wealthy, so between his estate, her retirement accounts, and them selling their house for almost $1 million, she's not going to starve, but she is still nervous. Alan called me with all this info because the estate lawyer is sending me a letter about it. Betty told him not to tell me anything, but he felt he had to. Haven't got the letter yet, but they're maybe setting up a trust that she'll want me to sign the IRA into. I expect a guilt trip about doing the right thing and following his wishes, but the reason they had a joint will is because they couldn't agree on any other kind of split, as Dad didn't like Frank and Betty doesn't like me. If I thought my dad had dementia, I might believe the IRA was missed, but he was very meticulous. It feels like making me the beneficiary was his way of providing for me, knowing this would happen. It does not make financial sense for me to give the money to the estate and end up with 25% of whatever pittance is left when I could have 50% of whatever is in the IRA now. I would split it with Alan. My other reason for not wanting to share is that I'm currently pregnant and having this money would make being a stay-at-home mum easier, and baby would get a jump start on her college fund. Will I be the buttface if I didn't give this money back to the estate and shared it with my brother? I might be the buttface because while I want to be ethical, I am having some schadenfreude over being in control after she's treated me poorly for 30 years. I also don't need the money, but she doesn't either. Other info. I don't know why she wouldn't call me directly. Either the lawyer said not to, or this is another example of her not treating me as an adult. My brother is my half-brother. He was estranged and came back into our lives in 2008. I feel like he would have been on the IRA too. After my brother came back into our lives, but before he had changed his will, my dad had always asked me to be fair with him, so I would give him his share.
Well, I have one quick question as an adult who missed certain pieces of information. What's an IRA?
I don't know. I am assuming it is some form of either retirement fund, kind of like basically our superannuation, or like similar to like their 401k thing over in the US, or it could be some sort of investment fund.
And then I'd have follow-up questions, but he put you as beneficiary for a reason. That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
You are beneficiary. You get the money.
And the fact that
The end.
what Dad intended was for his children to be cared for. Based on what the stepmother wants, that wouldn't happen if Frank were to basically take most of it, leaving them very little. Whereas the instance of taking the IRA, especially given that Dad wasn't experiencing dementia and the fact that she described him as meticulous. So if this is a reliable narrator, then he did know what he was doing, and it was by design, in which case sticking to what you're doing now both protects both you and your brother, ensures that you both get essentially the share that your father expected you to get out of his estate, while also making sure that you, Alan, Frank, and your stepmother all still are able to basically live a solid life with the money that has been left by your father. So she's not getting as much as she wants. Tough shit.
Yeah, like it's not like she's living in poverty. She's fine. If we have a reliable narrator, she's fine. You're fine. Obviously, your dad trusted you enough to put you as a beneficiary to this account. That's black and white to me. He gave you the money. Ta-da! Money. You wouldn't even necessarily have to share it with your brother because he put your name on it, not both of yours. But you were kind enough to share it with your Alan. Share it with Alan. But you're not stupid enough to share it with Frank. As someone who has a Frank in her life, he doesn't need access to that money. He will ruin you all.